This episode is powered by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, hello and welcome to an all-new Rated R Safety Show. Today is Wednesday, November the 6th, day 310 of the year. Only you got this. 55 days remaining before the year's up and over with. Wow, wow, wow. Any moment now, we'll be saying Merry, 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 whatever you normally say, or Happy Holidays, and Happy Thanksgiving, and all those other great things that we get to say towards this time of the year. I have to tell you that where I'm located currently, it doesn't feel like we're in the fall/holiday season yet. Anyways, how have you been? It seems like we've been a little bit since it's... Let me see if I can say that one more time. Since we've been able to have a conversation, I had full intentions on coming out to this bad boy and for us sitting down on Monday and having a conversation, but there has been some excitement behind the scenes here at good old Safety FM. As you might have heard by now, they have just signed a new host, Blaine J. Hoffman, from the Safety Pro podcast to Safety FM. So he's going to be streaming now, from what I understand, directly after my noon show on Safety FM. So I'm wondering, with all these signings that are going on, am I going to get a budget increase for my show? I want to bring you some more elements, but who knows what they're going to do around here. Anyways, probably should not be talking about that here on the air currently, but who cares?
Duh.
You know how I am. I'll just say whatever I want when I want to, and nobody normally gives a shit anyways.
Duh.
Well, I don't have any ranters because I've gotten to the point that I have ranters that come about, and I look at it and I go, does the rant make sense if I read it? Because I get a lot of those still, and I know it's been a while since we talked about it, so no ranting today on Wednesday. But let's get you started with the news right away.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
So I don't know if you've been paying a lot of attention of what's going on in this world of news that we have going on around there. So let's take a look real quick. A multinational study indicates that any amount of running, no matter the speed, at least once a week, has health benefits that lower the chance of death. Hey, that's a great thing if you want to talk about it. Compared with no running at all, the risk of death from all causes drops 27% for those who get out and do moderate activity. It also corresponds to a 30% less likely death from cardiovascular disease and 23% lower risk from cancer. And here's the kicker. In this study, it found no evidence to suggest that increasing the frequency, duration, or pace of running brought any greater mortality benefits. So is this going to encourage you to go out and run, people? So this tells you right away that you don't have to do it all the time, but you have to do it at least once a week. So is it worth your time to do so? I think it might be well worth your time. I know some of the hosts around here go out and run. Good for them. Let's continue. An elephant used for rides reportedly died from exhaustion last month. The 18-year-old elephant collapsed in the town of Sri Lanka after giving 3 consecutive rides and appearing in a parade. Asian elephants have a typical lifespan of 48 years. Now, animal rights groups are pushing legislation to ban practice there. We urge tourists to never ride an elephant and call Sri Lanka government to instate a new animal welfare bill that will finally offer protection to the country's amazing array of animals and wildlife, one activist told the Daily Mirror. So what do you think? Do you go to Sri Lanka and go ride the elephants? What do you do? How do you go about when you travel? Do you do all the crazy, amusing things that are out there to be able to do? I don't know. I don't think I would go somewhere and ride an elephant. I don't think I would stay here and ride an elephant. I just don't think I'd ride an elephant at all.
Duh.
But I can understand where some protests might be. Anyways, police in North Carolina are on the lookout for a murder suspect accused of 2 counts of first-degree murder and robbery. He was in court on Tuesday and somehow managed to escape. Oh, yeah. Oh, and he's 13 years old, and he spotted shoeless and in leg restraints near the courthouse and still managed to evade authorities. Since he's a minor, legally the police can only provide first name and last initial, so Jericho W., not his full name. No word yet of how he managed to escape. So a 13-year-old, 2 counts of first-degree fucking murder, people. How is this even possible? What is going on? What is going on? So, and then he managed to escape. And there is something kind of strange here. At this particular point, even though he's a minor, do you go around and say, okay, screw it on this incident and release the last name? Or do you just go ahead and say, no, we're not going to do it that way? I don't know, people, what to do here. Let's continue. AT&T has settled its case with the Federal Trade Commission over slowing down speeds of unlimited users who are hogging up too much data. They'll fork over $60 million and they'll be prohibited from marketing speeds or amount of data without expressly disclosing the terms. The penalty will go to a fund that will be paid out to victims of AT&T throttling practices. So I will tell you, this throttling thing has been a big thing for a while, and I have to tell you, for a monstrosity as AT&T, I don't think $60 million is a lot of money. So $60 million for them throttling customers. And I have to tell you that most of the things that I have seen, it states that AT&T, once you get to, I think it's like 22 gigs, they're going to throttle your ass down for too much data. Now, if you're pulling 22 gigs off your phone, hey, good for you. That means you're doing a lot of shit there. But 22 gigs is quite a bit. I think most people are still on Wi-Fi when they get the chance, but that's just my opinion. And I think that's why you're here, because you wanted my opinion. An unnamed 47-year-old New Zealand woman characterized as an experienced sailor disappeared on Friday after taking out a small inflatable boat. She was recovered Sunday morning about 40 miles off the island of, I'm going to screw this up, Crete. The Greeks deployed 7 Coast Guard vessels, a plane, a helicopter in search of her. She said that she ate candy that she had with her and otherwise was okay, but a little shaken. Inflatable boat? Inflatable boat. Would you take an inflatable boat out to go do some crazy stuff out there? I don't think I'd take an inflatable boat. Would you? I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. Both the Dow and the NASDAQ closed back-to-back record-breaking days on Tuesday. The markets were bolstered by hopes of an end of the trade war with China, though nothing definite has been announced. So let's get the stocks in the NASDAQ back up, people. Let's have our money work for us, especially if you're an investor out there. Out to McDonald's CEO Stephen Easterbrook may have violated policy by having a relationship with a female subordinate, but he'll end up financially okay. He's taking home 6 months severance and now has the option to exercise $23.8 million with an M dollars in stock. Well, okay. I am not going to sit here and say you should have a relationship with a subordinate. And I don't know if the dude's married. I don't really care. Not any of my opinion here. But $23.8 million in stock, 6 months severance, and a relationship with somebody who reported to you? I normally say, hey, follow the whole model from Tom Likas and don't fish off of your own work peer or company's peer, however you want to look at it. But $23.8 million in 6 months severance? I don't think it sounds all that bad.
Duh.
Anyways, that's just my opinion. Of course, let's get into some space news right away. Mercury will pass in front of the sun from Earth's perspective on November 11th. Since the planet is so small, you'll be able to view, but only with a telescope that has a sun filter on it. The transit will occur between 6:35 a.m. and 12:04 p.m. Central Time. NASA says that this happens about 13 times per century. The next transit is slated for 2032. Well. Will you be going out there and taking a look to see what you can find? E-cigarettes manufacturer, I think it's Juul, Juul, knew their product was popular with teenagers right after its launch in 2015. This is according to Reuters. Investigation says. The report says that its customer service reps were inundated with calls from young people asking where to buy it. And the company quickly took up the debate on whether to limit youth sales. One of the executives exposing the story says they rationalized that since the product wasn't directly marketed to young people, they shouldn't have worried about it. Huh. Well, we didn't mean to market it to the people, but the youngins were interested in it. So we didn't do anything about it. That's a jacked up plan. Shouldn't you have said something? Shouldn't have you tried to limit doing anything? I don't know. I read some of this stuff and get frustrated as I'm doing it. Anyways, let's talk about some days of the year that you can celebrate here today. So let's take it from the top. Basketball Day. International Day of Preventing the Exploration of the Environment in War and Armed Conflict. International Stress Awareness Day. National Eating Healthy Day. National Nachos Day. How are you going to have that after saying Healthy Day? I mean, how does that make any sense? National Saxophone Day. That's a lot of days you can celebrate there. I mean, not as many as sometimes when we talk. But I guess you could really celebrate some. Anyways, I know I didn't talk to you on Monday, but it does look as Terminator Dark Fate was number 1 in the box office, but it did not actually hit everything that everybody was expecting. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'd look at it and go, crazy stuff there. Anyways, you have been listening to the Rated R Safety Show. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
This episode has been powered by Safety FM.